everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Carrie McCarthy, founder and CEO of Startup Art Therapy to Rewire Your Brain. And this is a channel that talks about trauma, racial trauma, chronic trauma, acute trauma, all kinds of different traumas and how to heal it. And we do interviews, we talk with Indigenous people and people from all walks of life around the globe. And I bring art therapy trauma treatment trainings to tribal nations and beyond. And I'm actually going to be going to flying up to 2 different tribal nations in Canada in the next month, and then flying down to Lakota Nations in Pine Ridge Reservation, South Dakota, and doing some trainings in the next couple of months, as well as possibly working with the Ukraine, training their therapists and art therapists in neurodevelopmental art therapy and the startup art therapy for stage chronic trauma treatment whole brain healing system. So I'm super honored, super excited to be able to be bringing this healing to the world, and that's my passion. So what we're going to talk about today, because May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we all need to be healing. And I don't care how healed you think you are and how perfect you are, it is about peeling the layers back of the onion or the lotus flower or whatever metaphor you want to use. It's about finding the deeper levels of which we hold things and how to release them. So we're going to be taking this opportunity to talk about starting your mental health recovery journey in today's video. And we're going to share 3 ways to get started on your journey. So remember, just to take a moment, seeking help and taking action for your mental health is courageous and the first step towards healing. But we have to make it a commitment to an ongoing process. And I'm going to tell you about a client of mine. In the past, I've been in this field for 23 years, and I had a client that was very resistant. He was seeking help from a lot of different practitioners and would start some of the techniques, but then wouldn't follow through as instructed, and then would get frustrated and saying that those techniques didn't work for him. So even though these were tried and true, researched across the board to reduce trauma symptoms and other, huge miraculous health recoveries, and myself included, I healed myself from electrohypersensitivity that I had picked up during a journey of working with the US federal government, where my office was put right next to a gigantic electrical power plant, and it fried my system. And it took me a couple years to recover, but I did it using my own neuroplasticity, but being committed to the healing process. I did this for over an hour every single day because that's how committed I was to my own healing process. And that's how committed you need to be for your own healing process. There aren't any quick fixes out there. You can take a pill that might help you and feel better. And sometimes we need to, boost our serotonin levels if you've tried everything else, or dopamine, or whatever it is for you. If you're bipolar, sometimes you might need those extra meds just to kind of get your baseline, because sometimes that's what we need. We all have different systems and constitutions that we need to work with. So no fault, but this particular client would start start seeing some progress, and then just kind of fall off, and then decide that it wasn't working for him. So and then decide that the practitioner didn't know what they were talking about sometimes, or they just decided that they had there were other solutions out there for them. So when people sometimes are resistant to their own recovery journey, it can mean a lot of things. It can mean you're not ready to change. It's too scary. But I encourage you to befriend your fear, because fear is just a made up um, operative in your mind. It's just a narrative. It's just your brain telling you false messages that keep you stuck in the negative feedback loop. And so once we face our fear and take a 180 and get off of that negative feedback loop, that's often the hardest part of the trauma recovery journey, just getting off of that wheel. It's like you're, the hamster. If you've ever seen a hamster go in their hamster wheel, it takes a while for it to stop and slow down. And then the hamster's kind of going like this. And, that can make somebody feel very unstable if you're a human and you're kind of wobbling around trying to get off of that negative feedback loop. So I just encourage you to keep going when you are faced with those moments of feeling wobbly or feeling fearful. Befriend the fear and know that you are going to feel a lot different if you just move through, not around, or run away completely. So we're just going to dive in 3 ways how you can start your mental health recovery journey, celebrating the Mental Health Awareness Month of May. So 1, seek professional help. So there's, research your options and look for licensed therapists, counselors, or psychiatrists in your area. You can check online directories and read reviews if available. That's really important. And one thing I want to, coaches are great, but when you're healing trauma, I do not recommend going to a coach. There are people out there that go to a weekend workshop or watch a few YouTube videos and decide, oh, I'm going to be a coach and I'm going to specialize in trauma. That can be a little slippery slope. It can be very dangerous. They don't have very appropriate professional training on how to deal with decompensation when people potentially they're working with get triggered and can de-escalate or escalate and go into, a depressive episode or a psychotic episode, or have dissociative identity disorder, other personalities, other alters come out, and they don't know how to put somebody back together, and they do not have the training. They don't understand the protocols, what to do most oftentimes. So get recommendations, that are licensed people and that specialize in the area that you are wanting to work with and heal. So, and ask for recommendations from your primary care physician or trusted friends and family recommendations. And start with an initial appointment. So schedule your initial appointment with a professional to discuss your situation and see if they're a good fit for you. Remember, it doesn't matter if you're a good fit for them. If you're not feeling resonant, if you're not feeling comfortable, then most likely this is not going to work for you. So listen to your own feelings, your own gut, if that's somebody you could really trust. So, and don't give up. If you don't find somebody right away, it's okay. Don't give up, because your mental health is worth it, and you just keep looking. And also group work too. There's a lot of different groups and different areas, and research that, because sometimes that's great. You could meet other friends that can become support networks for you too, and create commonality and long-lasting friendships, which is definitely imperative in trauma recovery. Practice self-care. This is number 2. Practice good self-care. So physical self-care, like regular exercise, eating nutritious organic food, getting enough sleep. That's really important. Emotional self-care, making time for activities that bring you joy, like reading, painting, spending time in nature, I say, when life gives you lemons, learn to boogie board. And also mental self-care. So practicing mindfulness, meditation, deep breathing, exercises to calm your mind. You can get self-help books in the areas that interest you. Um, Doing art, exploring some of the things that you've gone through, and just it's all so good. Just engage in your own inward reflection. That's something that you can do on your own as well, in conjunction with seeking a licensed professional. So, taking time for yourself is crucial in your recovery journey. Remember, there are no fast track ways to heal. There's a lot of psilocybin assisted therapies and ketamine assisted therapy, and those are good. And it's, for some people, that's a good path. And when you're talking about healing your own neural pathways and making lasting long changes that stick, that are not temporary, making a commitment and being able to do something on a regular basis is the only thing that has long lasting effects. And sometimes you need to commit to these things for at least 6 months, because this is how we build new neural networks. We can build new neural pathways and have the synapses connect and the dendrites connect, and but to build a whole new neural network and get you off of the negative feedback loop is a whole nother story. So when it's something that has been inflicted a trauma in childhood, per se, you've been carrying this around, you might need something more than just a quick mushroom trip. So, but those are helpful too. And building a support network. So talking to trusted friends and family and seeing who is your inner circle, who is your outer circle, and who do you just need to stay away from and say no to, and while you are on your healing journey. Sometimes we have really positive, uplifting friends, and then other times we have friends that are, it can be a little mixed bag. So, just gauge what you're needing at this time, and, uh, you know, schedule your social calendar accordingly. And join a support group like we're talking about earlier. Those are really important. That could be an online support group or in person. Finding a support group that is in your area is great, because that way you can actually make hiking buddies, or and seeking community resources. So looking for community organizations that offer resources, workshops, and events that are focused on mental health, especially the area of mental health that you're interested in. So, your support network can provide a sense of community and help you stay motivated as you navigate your recovery journey. So, one of the things that we need to remember, this is 3 ways that you can start your mental health recovery journey. And there's a whole lot more that we're going to be talking about through this month of May. Different art therapy techniques that might help with calming your nervous system, techniques that might help get you off of the negative feedback loop and from problem to possibility. But everybody is on their own unique journey, and we cannot compare ourselves to Sally or Sue or Jimmy that are healing at different rates than you might be. Okay. Because when we start comparing ourselves, that is how we start getting opening the gateway to shame and self-loathing. And those are things that are going to reinforce and perpetuate the negative self-talk, and that keeps us on that negative feedback loop and that maladapted stress response of trauma. So we want to just really try to keep an elevated mood, maybe unplug from the news, unplug from toxic people, Unplug from things that don't feed us, that aren't providing us feedback that's positive and optimistic and really nourishing every facet of who we are, because we are water. And Dr. Emoji proved that when we give ourselves positive messages, and we have positive messages from around us in the environment, it reflects on our crystalline structures of our own cellular structure, and it either creates like a beautiful snowflake pattern if it's positive and uplifting, or it can wreak havoc and look like a nuclear holocaust if it's negative and can actually damage cells. So you choose what you are willing to commit to. And I'm just going to be really excited to be here through Mental Health Awareness Month. This is our month. This is our month to shine. It's our month to get out there, commit to ourselves, and stick with it. Stick with it. Commit to an hour a day to yourself. Carve out that time, even if it's just a half hour a day, where you're going to give yourself something. Okay. So I'm here for you, and reach out and go heal yourself so we can heal the people and heal the planet.